Hey everyone, welcome back to Ragtag Stacking. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about silver bars and kind of comparing pressed bars to the hand-poured bars. As you can see, I do like both. I do have both versions in different sizes. I have a bunch of 1 ounce and 5 ounce and 10 ounce pressed bars, and as far as the hand-poured ones, I do have a smaller sample size of that compared to the pressed, but I do have two of the half kilo, one of these nice chunky little 10 ounce bars here, and a couple of the 2 ounce and 1 ounce variety of the beaver bullion. So yeah, it's a tough decision on which one I think I like better or which one I kind of prefer. But one thing that I did do is I put up a poll on my community tab of my channel and just asked the question, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the pressed bars or the hand poured? And it's a small sample size. It's only been up for about 14 hours. And the overwhelming consensus right now with the votes, at least like I said, with this small sample size, is 66% say pressed bars, and hand-poured bars is at 34%. Now for me, it might be different for some people. I was actually talking with Fish in the comments of this poll, and we were talking about cast poured versus hand poured. In my mind, at least, or in my head, I always had cast poured just thrown in with the hand poured stuff. And Fish had a little bit of a different way of looking at it. He was thinking that the more artisan hand poured stuff, a lot of the stuff that you see on the YouTube channels of different people doing the stuff in their backyard, the smaller sort of projects like that, that's more hand poured stuff. And stuff like this, the cast poured, the mass produced stuff that you'll see from the bigger refineries and things like that, where it's a big system, multiple casts ready to be poured into, considers that different than say traditional hand poured stuff. But anyways, I will leave a link to that poll question in the description. YouTube polls never close, unlike Twitter. I think the maximum 7 days. With YouTube, you can jump on and vote on all of the polls that I've put up in the community channel. As I said, they never close. So other than the look, obviously the press bars and the hand poured bars do have a different look to them. There are some different pros and cons that come with each. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump onto the computer and go over this article here that's just sort of doing a good comparison of the two. Okay, here we go. This is a article that I found on jmbullion.com talking about poured versus pressed bars. And I do actually love the look of these Silvertown poured bars, but unfortunately this picture, it looks like it was taken with a phone that doesn't have a camera or something, because this is not a very good resolution on here, but I do really like the look of a lot of the hand poured Silvertown stuff. But getting right into it, it says investors and collectors looking to purchase precious metals may encounter both poured bars as well as pressed bars. It's important to understand the benefits and limitations of each option before you decide which is right for you. Just like with anything, a lot of it is personal preference, and as far as pricing goes, it will get down to that a little bit further down, but it's not too drastic of a comparison when you're looking at the price. So it really does kind of come down to personal preference, and a lot of people are saying, silver is silver, I'm going to buy whatever's cheapest. So there are a lot of people that make their minds up just with the dollar point. See, getting down here, it says when mints make poured bars, they pour melted metals into molds or casts. A lot of the time you see the metal going into like a mold that's just open face, you know what I mean? It's got like the 4 walls, the bottom, but it doesn't have a roof to it. It just pours right on top. With the cast ones, you'll see like it's a completely enclosed structure with a little, sort of opening at the top where they pour it into. So there's a difference between the molds and the casts. So it says, due to the process of pouring and molding the metal, most poured bars have a unique and distinct characteristic. And that's what you'll see. You'll see a lot of them where it looks, like there's different lines and layers in it on the side. It kind of looks like a biscuit or something like that. When you're pouring it, you can kind of tap the mold as well, and it makes like different ripples and different designs. So yeah, the hand poured stuff definitely does have, I'd say, a little bit more character to it, because the pressed bars are a lot more, assembly line, kind of like the way that you mint and press and the coins. You're just kind of expecting uniformity. You're expecting the same thing from each bar. So going in, there's a history of poured and pressed bars. It It says, people have been pouring bars and ingots of precious metals throughout recorded history. It's a fairly simple technique that anyone could master with a hot fire and a few sturdy tools. However, by today's standard, the pouring process takes a long time. It's fairly inefficient, especially making small bars that weigh less than 100 ounces on a large scale. So I do love seeing a lot of those pouring channels on YouTube where they, basically just do it in their backyard. They're not, going with these 100-ounce bars or anything like that. They're making little sort of projects. A lot of the ones where they do the sand molding or the sand casting, to put like just whatever in there. If you want to have a 5-ounce hand-poured thing that looks like scissors, you can do it. You just press the scissors into the sand and pour the silver over top of it. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of, I hate the word artisan, but it's a lot of, just personalized stuff like that. It's, on a smaller scale. A lot of that hand-poured stuff is done by, individuals. And it does say here that the pouring process is more useful for bigger bars, at least for the mint, that is. It says the pressing method would create too many complications with the bigger bars, and many companies don't make blanks that large. So, if you're going up, I have seen 100-ounce, I think Sunshine Mint bars, but I haven't really seen too many bigger ones. In fact, just hand poured or pressed, I don't really see too many bigger than the 100 ounces. They're out there, but as far as seeing them on videos or seeing them on websites, you don't really see too many sizes bigger than 100 ounces. And another main reason why a lot of the mints prefer the pressed one is because it's faster. It says pressing is faster, more accurate in most cases, but it can be inefficient at making large bars, like they said above. Many mints are pressing for small silver and gold bars while relying on the older method, pouring, to make larger bars. But, as you can see in the little intro there, you did see that, I did have some hand-poured 10-ounce stuff. I had some hand-poured 2-ounce stuff. So they do make the smaller ones, but it is more efficient and faster making the pressed. So getting down here a little bit into the cost of producing and buying them. It says poured bars usually cost more than pressed bars for two reasons. One being they are generally larger, and second being they often require a human to physically pour the metal. Needing to have a human present in order to complete the process makes it more time consuming and costly. This also means that a mint can only produce a limited amount of bars in most cases. I forget what it's called, the big thing that holds the liquid metal that has been melted down. You tilt it and it pours into the mold. That, a lot of that stuff is still manually operated. You know what I mean? Whether it's the person needs to reset, put a new cast in there and press a button to tilt it, or if they need to actually physically tilt it themselves, it still requires often a person to be there to complete the process. Whereas just like with coins, when you see them going along that assembly line, it just gets stamped and away it goes. You know what I mean? It doesn't really need too much human oversight with it. It just gets, the planchets just get fed into the hopper, goes along the line, then it goes to the end, it's finishing up and on to the next process. That's kind of what it's like with the pressed bars. And then here it says pressed bars usually cost less, but for the same reason that poured bars cost more. However, some pressed bars may also have designs that make them collectors. If a bar is considered a collector item, price is often higher than the metal's melt value. So yeah, just like with coins, like when you have collector coins or proof coins or different styles, it's not just as simple as throwing it onto the assembly line. For some things like proof coins, the die needs to be changed out more often, needs to be hand polished more often. So if you are looking at something that's more of a premium pressed bar, say it has a lower mintage, say it had more that needed to go into the minting process, like limited amount of times that the die could strike, and you need to switch things out like on the coin side, that's where you can see the possibility of the pressed bars price going up because more work went into it. And it says deciding on whether to purchase poured or pressed bars isn't always an easy decision. Investors and collectors should consider the value of each bar rather than taking a blanket approach that puts all poured bars into a single category. Some like the more natural look and uniqueness of poured silver bars, while others like the pressed silver bars for their special or commemorative design. Like most precious metals, in the end, it simply boils down to personal preference. So yeah, like I said in the intro there, a lot of it is just personal preference. For a lot of people, it just comes down to what is the cheapest thing that I can get in my hands and walk out the store with. But again, personal preference. Some people might not like the look of the poured, and they don't mind paying maybe an extra $1 on top of spot to get the pressed bar that they enjoy stacking. But yes, I did kind of go through the majority of the article here. I will leave a link in the description if you want to read through it yourself. I always do that with videos that go over articles. But yes, I will leave a link in the description to this. There you go. There you have it. That was the article comparing the two. And I'm kind of waiting to the end here to say which one I prefer. And it's close. It's not like I absolutely hate the other one. But as far as one that I like the look of the most, I have to say it's the hand poured. These cast poured bars are beautiful. This is my favorite one here. I just recently picked it up. It's the half kilo Istanbul Gold Refinery IGR bar. And this is what silver, this is in my head is what silver is supposed to feel like in your hands. You know what I mean? This was a cool one too. This was a half kilo bar that I picked up. But as you can see, it is a lot chunkier than this other half kilo 500 gram one. So this one's nice, but it does kind of have the footprint of like a 10-ounce bar. You know what I mean? It's not as substantial. The surface area isn't as big as this one. Obviously this one's thinner, and this one, a lot of the size and heft went into the chunkiness of it. But if you were to ask me which one I prefer, this one here for the half kilo or this size, I would definitely go with the IGR. Which is weird because with the 10-ounce ones, I do love these, chunky bars. I love the look of this one. Obviously, this is smaller than some of these 10-ounce pressed ones, but for whatever reason, the 10-ounce size doesn't bother me because I do love the chunkiness, especially like chunky 2-ounce coins, stuff like that. Historically, my track record is I like the chunk, but when I got this one in my hands and compared it to that one, yeah, I fell in love with that size for the half kilo. But anyways, like I said, there's a poll question that is still available if you would like to vote on it. If you just want to let me know in the comments of this video which one you prefer, that's always good too. I always like keeping the conversation going down in the comments. But yeah, that was just a quick little video I wanted to do talking about the difference between poured and pressed bars. And yeah, looking forward to seeing the results going forward in the poll and seeing what your comments are down below. But yes, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you come back for the next one. Thank you.